Yeah! Yeah!
When you wake up in the morning and the light has hit your head, the first thing you do when you get up out of bed is hit that streets a running and try to beat the masses. Go get yourself some cheap sunglasses.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Welcome to Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous.
Hey, Tom. Woo!
Bingers. My name's Tom.
Howdy.
I'm a fantasy sports addict today, and I'm hungover.
And my name is Ryan.
Howdy, Ryan.
And I, too, am a fantasy sports addict, and I'm
tired.
fucking tired.
Yeah. Right? So Ryan's fucking tired. I'm fucking hungover. It's been a minute since we've done a podcast. This is podcast 75.
Right? We were, what, 2 weeks absent for a podcast?
Well, it's all right. We're making up for it now. It's baseball season, so we're back on the grind. But, we were without. I guess this is like the news section. We'll just bleed right into the news. Right? I was without a computer. Have a new computer now.
Woo!
Computer. We're going into a new setup. We're working on a few things. Right? We're going to be sort of expanding our live stream game with some new software. We're getting new webcams. You may notice in the new videos we're posting that the quality is not as good, but the turnaround time is much better than our traditional setup. We will work on the quality, so bear with us in that. But, things are moving along. We're going to try to have way more content from now on.
It's a give and take.
It is. But I think it's the most doing things live and streaming them as they happen sort of thing. It's the most economical and most reasonable way for us to get product out there quicker, the turnaround time without having to edit. Maybe we're not as crisp or as pretty, but we'll work on that. We got new software for the graphics and such. But so that's kind of the news, right? What else is going on with you, Ryan? What's going on with you?
What's going?
I heard somebody asked your wife for some titty pics.
Really, Tom? Shut up.
No, I heard that happened. Are you going to beat this person to death?
I don't want to talk about that right now, dude.
That's news. I thought that was fun news.
We'll see what happens, but I mean, I'm not saying
you don't want to get
shit.
in a fight? Man.
Shut the fuck up.
I thought it was a good story.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, fine. You're an asshole. Man, bringing up a good story we can't even talk about. Son of a bitch. All right, well,
James, you know why we can't talk about it. Tom doesn't, but James, you know what's up.
Wait, why does James say no? We can't talk. Did he say we can't talk about it?
No, he's just here, and I'm just. He knows.
Have you talked to James about it more than you've talked to me about it?
I haven't talked to anybody about it, and I'm not going to.
Okay, well, never mind. Nothing good ever happens in Ryan's life. Is there anything happening besides excitement that we could have talked about that would have been a great conversation for a podcast? Is there anything else that's not exciting that's happening?
We got a bunch of people that joined our website.
Okay, so that's exciting. That is very exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah, all right. Well, why are you so tired? Because you switched over to your night shift, right?
Right.
And that's why you're in a little bit of a mood.
This is my second night back on my mids, and the second night's always the worst. You can power through the first night, but when second night and not great sleep, and I didn't transition as well as I would have liked because I went to the UFC Fight Night BJ Penn on Monday.
Yeah, we also did the draft. We had the draft Saturday too.
Saturday was the draft. So after waking up and drafting and drinking and then passing out, and then Sunday going to UFC and drinking and watching fights and passing out.
So the main theme is drinking and passing out, which you're about to. You are drinking. You have been drinking, and you will pass out.
Woo!
That's good news. This is exciting news. My news is I'm hungover because I had to go to a funeral yesterday. Thank God, finally, my great-grandmother, 104 years old, passed away.
Cheers.
Glad she's gone. because she was a vegetable and suffering with Alzheimer's. And hey, you know what? Now she's
Oh, hold up. I'm going to mute.
tell the dogs to cool off. Yeah. Dogs are barking in the middle of my story about a dead grandmother. But anyway, she's now nicely placed in the ground and next to her husband of her entire lifetime. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. She's where she belongs, not suffering. I don't know why anybody would ever. People talk about, oh, I want to live forever. I want to live 100 some years. No, I don't. Especially not if that happens. You kidding? But anyways, yeah, it's good news. So we are podcasting. This is podcast 75. Took about 2 weeks to get there because of various life issues and technology issues. But we're going forward. I don't have the list in front of me, but since we've done our last podcast, quite a few people have joined our website, signed up for the website, started conversing with other fantasy sports addicts on fantasysportsaddicts.com.
It's in correlation of us doing mock drafts and baseball starting up, so people are getting excited.
Well, let's not forget Andrew from Fantasy Aid at Fantasy Aid 1 on Twitter. Andrew from Fantasy Aid's also been driving quite a bit of traffic with his videos. And again, that's the whole thing. Our website, fantasysportsaddicts.com, is a community of not necessarily experts, but addicts. And we like to talk about fantasy sports. Quite a few of us have YouTube channels. We all kind of cross-promote.
Exactly. I mean, that's a community we're trying to build here. Actually, just this morning, we had Johnny Baseball.
Baseball.
I actually saw him. He did a Reddit post where he's like, hey, I just started a YouTube channel. Let me know what you think.
Well, we're going to have to give him a subscription.
So yeah, I already subscribed, and then I told him to come by fantasysportsaddicts.com. And I was just like, there's a bunch of us that have YouTube channels, and we draft and we join leagues together and, help cross promote, Andrew from Fantasy A, there's James, Cubby, Noel, and this Johnny Baseball, he came by and he signed up for the site.
Yeah, we'll have to check out his content. I'm sure, again, that's the beauty of fantasy sports. There's no right answer or wrong answer in a lot of regards. We all have different opinions. We all
and opinions and biases, and fuck you, I like my guy.
Right, but that's the beauty of being able to compare notes. You know what I mean? That's, you kind of checks and balances, and I sort of thought I liked that guy, but then I heard this guy's opinion and I really like him more. Well, wait a minute, I wasn't sure. Now I know for sure. You know what I mean?
But
it's nice to have different...
that's even just players. You feel the same way about certain players. You love them one minute and then you won't touch them the next.
That happens. So so many of these people have signed up in the last 2 weeks. We've got all kinds of new names and new faces and people we like to talk to here. Let's get through them because they're due a shout out.
Unfortunately, I don't have every name just because with the 2 weeks, there's actually just too many, and there's a lot of them where they signed up, but I haven't actually personally chatted with them. But I do want to give some special shout outs to some of these addicts that have signed up and they made a post on our forum and they've been there and they're chatting.
Okay, let's give those guys a shout out, or gals too. I don't know who we have.
First one I want to do is Dan the Man. He actually mock draft with us this last weekend. It was a lot of fun. We didn't live stream it, but it was one of those, the mock draft horn was sounded.
So we had to do some baseball drafting, and there were only 8 of us, but it was enough to fill out as much. And that was, again, we laughed. It was the smallest draft we've been in.
Oh yeah, we're all used to these crazy deep leagues, and here's a 18. But that's the thing.
That's child's play.
A Saturday morning, and there's 8 of us on the website, and hey, yeah, let's draft.
I believe it was actually late Saturday afternoon, but given your transition, it was Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, we drafted, and it was fun, and we used that old the tube sock, Fantrax. We just our throwaway league, our mock socks.
We'll recycle it again. Hey man, let's mock. Woo!
Yeah, if you haven't seen the mock sock video, go check that out on our YouTube channel. It's a funny video. Ryan's doing a sock.
We'll get to that, but a couple more shout outs. I don't believe we gave a shout out to Braves.
No.
That's just his name. He's been there for a little bit. Chatted with him, and then there's the Jersey Hitman, David Sheffield, and Scorpion Fred.
That's right.
And there's others. If I forgot you and didn't give you a shout out,
Remind us, leave a comment.
Let us know. We're addicts, not experts. Like, whatever.
That works. Well, that was good. So we've had a bunch of people. I mean, we honestly, like, again, I think we just got somebody else now. I guess that's the other baseball again. Never mind. Sorry, I'm looking at the email right now where it tells us all the people that have joined, and there actually have been more than we've named, but they haven't necessarily chimed in. So if you want to chime in and you've signed up for our website, we give you shout outs. That's how you get a shout out.
Bronson's mad he didn't get a shout out, but I haven't seen Bronson in a while.
Yeah, he didn't sign up. He was like the first 5 accounts on our website that weren't ours.
He really was.
I don't know why kids make 5 accounts on websites.
But another reason why we've had so many people join our website is because we put out the video to join our official FSAA
our
fantasy baseball leagues.
That's right. We have invites out, right?
Well, we don't have invites out because Yahoo hasn't opened yet.
Right. We do our leagues on Yahoo.
Yeah, but we do have interest, and we got a forum post and put your email out there, and there's already a lot of interest. So we're gonna do at least a 14-team head-to-head snake draft. That's
right. We're doing that.
And then equally as deep, but an auction roto, so you kind of get the best of both.
Right. It's a roto league, and you have to auction, pay for your players. It's a different type of draft than most people are used to, but it's very fun.
And we're fucking addicts, so we'll probably do a dynasty league just because we can't help ourselves.
Another one?
I mean, do you actually think we're going to make it through draft season and not actually start a fresh dynasty league?
I'm in too many dynasty or keeper leagues. All right, let's specify real quick. Some of our dynasty leagues are not traditional dynasty leagues where you keep all of your players from year to year and you have like a minor.
They're more dynasty than keeper.
Right. I was going to say they're a hybrid. Most keeper leagues, you keep 3, you keep 5, you keep 10. So I don't know. We keep basically most of your active roster.
No, your entire active roster, and we drop the bench.
Basically, you drop your bench in basketball and baseball. So we do these hybrid leagues. The turnover's nice. The turnover's fun. So it's kind of like a hybrid keeper dynasty. But I thought we should specify that with the whole dynasty conversation because, right, a lot of people.
Fair enough.
Traditionalists would say.
Yes, I'm just doing a blanket statement. Like they're closer to dynasties than
keepers. Well, I was going to say because we have so many addicts like JD and Andrew that are in true dynasty leagues where you again, you're glued to that fucking roster entirely. You know what I'm saying? And so
and there's a lot of people who are I set my pre-ranks based on your retroactive stats.
Oh yeah. Well, that happens.
Just anal retentive by the books, like.
Well, I'm not saying that's a problem, especially for these people. I just wanted to clarify because of the fact that we have so many people now, as the addicts community has grown, that are traditionalists in that sense, where we start saying dynasty, and they're like, "Wait a minute, that's not really a dynasty league."
I want to do a salary cap dynasty with a MILB minor league roster.
Who was doing the salary cap league the other day that was trying to get us into the salary? And I was like, I can't do that. Do math good.
I'm guessing it was JD.
I mean, that was hardcore. No, was it Jets or was it Dan? I don't know. Somebody was talking about salary caps, and it was like all these really complicated settings. And even like, Cubby Knoll, James, he's working on a, master's degree. He's like, that's like too much thinking for me.
Yeah, they can get really goddamn complex.
I noticed we lost all of our viewers all of a sudden.
Okay.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live.
We went from 6 people hanging out live to 0.
They come and go.
Okay, well, we lost all 6 at once. Anyways, back to the podcast, because you can always listen to it later. That's the beauty of the podcast. Woo! We just like to have our live hangout. That's kind of right. I mean, we like to have the conversation, the feedback. You know, Bronson saying, "Hey, talk about my teams."
Right. Well, it's one of those things where we don't have a set schedule, and it's been 2 weeks, but you know, it happens.
Well, that's all right. I mean,
but speaking of videos, like, yeah, it's been a while since we've done a podcast, but we got together last weekend and recorded a whole shitload of videos, and some of them are 10. Yeah, we had 10 total videos. Some of them are already out now. We got more videos coming out, but
they'll all be out by the end of the week.
What videos are already out?
Well, we had the league invites. We had the mock sock. Get your mock socks ready because we're going to mock draft a whole bunch coming up.
That was a funny video. I had the
sock
fantasy sock puppet.
He will become very stiff by the end of the season, I'm sure.
Oh,
you have to break him over your knee. We'll do our best to take care of him. Also, you know what? I might have to huff some paint out of that sock too. Just saying. He could be dual use. He could be the mock sock and the huff sock. Think about that. Denny's really crusty. You won't ever go with any of my ridiculous jokes.
I'm the straight man.
Well, stop cutting me off. Let me be ridiculous for a minute. I was talking about jerking off into a sock and
then huffing paint. Yes. I know what you were talking about, Tom.
Okay, well, let me pull off the joke before you shit on it. Ass.
I don't know. I'm the Robin of the group, I guess.
No, Robin's fun. Have you seen the Batman Lego commercial or the trailer for that movie? Robin looks like fun. You're not fun. You're Batman. I'm Robin. You be Batman. I'm the fun guy. Woo!
I was talking about Robin with Howard Stern.
Oh, Robin, the news lady. Well, she's fun too. She's fun. You just had All right. You know what? You just killed the whole thing. Nobody's listening anymore. You killed the whole goddamn thing.
I'm tired.
You're tired, and I'm hungover. This is
I've been up working all night.
This is a shitty fucking podcast. Podcast 75.
Right. So we got videos?
The videos we have out.
Yes.
The videos we have out currently. Okay. Sleepers, bus, rookies. Also league invites and blah blah blah.
And the pie video, don't forget about that.
Yes, there's a very funny video in which I owe you a few pies, and I get you back. I blast you in the face with a couple of pies. Well, it's one gigantic pie. But
multiple times.
Yeah, I just bash you in the face a few times with the pie. And that's funny. It's Pie OU, Ryan. Yeah, go watch that. Give us a thumbs up. But yeah, so, we got some information out there. We got our early sleepers and we don't like these guys. We're not drafting them our bus.
Okay. So
but the one thing I want to say one thing, because we have a couple of videos still coming out.
Right.
When we've talked about sleepers and bus and Andrew's got a video out. He's got his sleepers out. Andrew from Fantasy 8, again, check out his channel. He's got his sleepers and he's got his breakout players. And we were talking, what's the difference between a sleeper versus a breakout? And they're kind of one and the same way bus and sleepers can be sort of one and the same for different managers depending on how they view these players, right? But I think we kind of came to the consensus that the difference between breakout versus sleeper was age. And length of service time in the major leagues. So, are they kind of the same? Yes, but they're also kind of different because sleepers, breakouts is a very specific category. These guys they've been kind of good or they've had moments. Now they're in a position to succeed, right? So they're not, but they're also kind of the same. Sleepers are more just okay, this guy's like sneaky value because he's old and overlooked, or there's a lot of different qualifications for a sleeper, but a breakout seems like it's much more years of service in the major leagues, not necessarily like youth, because again, think about like Ryan Roberts when he was really good with the Diamondbacks in 2011. Or was it 2010?
Well,
I think
I think honestly, the only thing I think is the difference between a breakout and a sleeper is a lot of times that if the breakout is expected, you pay for it.
Not always.
Like, not always, but a lot of times.
Well, all right, so
I mean,
that would be Corey Seager last year, right? You had to pay for Corey Seager.
Exactly.
And he had a breakout year, and now you really have to pay for Corey Seager. But you pay for Corey Seager knowing what you're getting with Corey Seager this year, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But so it doesn't have to be like this later in the draft player necessarily. It's just a guy who's going to way outperform based on age and, situation, I think. But it was an interesting conversation we were having. But like, again, it just kind of reminds me that like in all of our videos where we're talking about, these are opinions, these are biased. So this whole like notion of sleepers and busts, like that's why we had you in the trash man outfit.
Some of your busts like are players who I'm targeting.
Exactly. And some of your players that you love, I'm not targeting. But for different reasons. We have different biases. We build different teams.
We have Bake Jordan joining us. It's been
a
while. Yeah,
hey,
absolutely.
Nice. Bake Jordan. Yeah.
And he's saying George Springer breakout year. You heard it here first. And
okay.
See, George Springer, I would never consider a sleeper because you're still paying a top 50 pick for him.
But this is the year he puts up like first round value, maybe, or kind of puts it all together. The batting average comes up. You got that power and the speed combination and a stacked lineup. And I have Springer as like a bust candidate, just a guy I'm not drafting. I won't call him a bust because I think, again, the production's there. He's good. He's not a guy I draft.
A great example of this is with basketball. Okay, 2 years ago, C.J. McCollum was a sleeper.
Right.
And then this year, he was a breakout player.
Okay. That makes sense.
You still paid,
You paid to get him.
But you still
the expectation you're going to get above what you've paid.
And above what he's done in the past.
Exactly. Okay. So we're going to have a breakout players video just like Andrew did, I guess.
Okay.
What? Again, go check out Fantasy 8. If you haven't seen his channel, give him a subscription, please. Andrew from Fantasy 8 has very good baseball information. That is his specialty. That's all he talks about is baseball, baseball, baseball. And he has not quit all year, just baseball.
And he's actually really
very knowledgeable.
Well, I was just going to say a lot more productive than we've been. He's got a lot of videos out there. And
he's way more analytical and much more stats oriented. So like if you're, kind of a stats guy and an information guy, we just talk generally about players and that sort of thing. But if you want actual hardcore analytics and stats and things that we don't even wrap our own heads around, go to Fantasy Aid.
Right.
Like, Andrew's got a lot of good information. Hell, I listen to his stuff and I'm like, I'm learning stuff. I'm like, wow, that's very insightful. Fuck, I didn't think about that. You know what I mean?
If you're a Cubs fan, check out Cubby Noel.
Well, absolutely. Well, but he's got the Cubs specific information.
Yeah.
Well, and Florida State, the Seminoles.
Cubby Noel.
Yeah. Now we got to check out the new guys channel, by the way. That's again, I just love this community thing. I just want to say that I'm very excited about it.
Sorry if we harp on about it, but I mean that's really
we're excited.
What we're doing here. And every time
that's what the whole point of what we're doing is.
Exactly.
I mean, I get excited. I love it. I love this whole everybody contributing different viewpoints, and I get very excited about it. I'm sorry. I just like woo So the videos we got coming up. All right, we still got more coming out. We got a couple different draft strategies. They're pretty basic. You guys don't need them. It kind of goes without saying this year, Rockies. And probably any year going forward for the next few years, Rockies. Get some Rockies on you. Maybe not, don't go nuts and have like a whole don't have the entire fucking Rockies lineup, but get some Rockies on your fantasy baseball team this year. That's, not necessarily pitching. There's Gray and maybe whoever's closing, but really positional players.
Yeah.
All right, so that's one of the strategies we got. We got our beginner strategy. If you're listening to this right now, you're probably not a fantasy baseball beginner, but there's a lot of people who are like, I've never played. I want to try. So we always do like a.
Well, that's what a lot of those videos are for. And then we have fun. We dress up and get drunk and make general asses of ourselves. But that's what we do here.
That's what. Well, yeah. The other thing though we've got coming out, and I don't know who we were talking about it with. I think Dan and Andrew. Is just like when you do these videos. And you talk about this stuff on your YouTube channel, anybody you're going to draft with knows everything about what you're going to do. And so we've just already laid it out. We're laid out bare. In the next few videos that come out, there's going to be players we're targeting no matter what. You guys know our sleepers. Yeah.
These are the players that are going to be like most universally owned on our teams.
And that doesn't mean you should own them. Yeah. These are just guys like Ryan loves, I love. And so there's videos like, but you know what's funny is like, again, that's not necessarily an endorsement that you should go draft those players because you feel free to disagree, but like, right. And we want to hear that disagreement because it might change our minds. And that's what the whole community thing, again, going back to the community, but that's why I like the multitude of opinions we have with different YouTube channels contributing here. We all have different ideas and sometimes the ideas overlap. And if you see these ideas overlapping from these multiple different sources, can't talk. That's the guy you absolutely have to go get, right? Like if you see a whole bunch of people like, that's the guy, like you better be getting that player, right? I like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just nice to be able to compare notes.
Again, that's not always right because that was Miguel Franco with us last year, where we were just fighting each other and everybody to try to get him.
Well, I was drumming up the hype because I was trying to make a Nolan Arenado trade.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah. Never mind. Sorry, J Money. He like subtracts $10 from the YouTube deposit. It's like minus 10. Shit. Yeah. Anyways, definitely. But that's the thing is, maybe we were a year early. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. How many times do experts get all hyped up about a guy? Like, think about fantasy football. Maybe they're all excited, like, oh, that's the dude you have to go add this week. And that week, they don't do shit. And you plug them into your lineup hoping for a big week, right? And you're like, right. Fuck. So maybe the next week they're on your bench or you dropped them already. And then they blow up and the rest of the season they're great. And the next year they're in the first round draft, right? The first round of a draft.
Right.
That happens. And, so maybe we were just a little bit early. Maybe Michael Franco, excuse me. Maybe this is the year. We don't have him in the sleeper list. Do we? We don't have. Do we have him in breakout or sleeper? Do we have him anywhere?
Yeah, I think we do.
We'll have to think about it. I got to think about it, honestly. I mean, you can't judge. He's on a terrible team that is improving, very young team, but think about Phillies. I mean, but he does have good power and plus a full year of Tommy Joseph alongside him.
Yeah, hopefully, he performs.
And I hope if anybody hears,
I have Franco in my sleepers list, at least in my scribbled notes.
Okay. I don't know where I have them. We'll do deeper sleepers. We'll be doing like updated sleepers once the Yahoo and ESPN leagues open up and we have rankings, actual rankings. I mean, so far, any of our early they're like guesstimations and like going off of like Fantrax. And Fantrax again is the mock sock, not the real deal.
Absolutely. So, so we'll see. Once Yahoo opens up, we'll be doing a whole shitload of mock drafts.
Indeed, we will. Now, one question. If you would like us to cover a specific topic, would you please let us know?
Yeah, we're always open to video suggestions.
Right. Like, how do you feel about the first two rounds of the draft? Who do you pair with who? How do you feel about the doors?
The doors?
The Doors. That's right. Well, again, this is in our video that comes out. I told you, I'm trying to draft in the first 3 rounds some combination that includes Francisco Lindor and Rougned Odor. I don't know how the rankings will stack up so far. The Doors. That's right. It's the Doors, and that's going to be my team name in the dynasty leagues, where I've got Rougned Odor and Francisco Lindor. The Doors. Those are players I want, and yeah, I got to pay for middle infield, but that's a hell of a middle infield, and from there on, you can fill out the rest of your team. But you got power and speed and batting average and everything. You're happy, right?
Absolutely.
Well, that's in our players we're going to draft video. I talk all about the Doors, and I talk all about trying to get a third baseman in the first round, blah, blah, blah.
If you can't tell, we're just generally
very excited.
Yeah,
excited?
Very excited about.
You didn't sound very excited. Are you excited?
Oh, hell yeah!
Woo!
Well, woo! Another thing I'm really excited about is Cubby Knoll. He wants to hop onto a podcast for one quick thing, an announcement.
Oh, yeah. An announcement. Oh boy. Okay. All right. I'm getting an invite link here, and where should I hit him? Where should I hit up Cubby Knoll?
I was just gonna say fucking post it to the YouTube chat.
Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna go to the YouTube chat.
I got it.
You got it? All right, yeah. Ryan's got it. We're posting the link, so if you're listening to this podcast live, might as well jump in. But hey, hold the floor for Cubby Knoll. Okay, we have an announcement from Cubby Knoll, James, one of our favorite addicts.
No idea what this is about, but
we have no new guys. He's got news. Hopefully, it's not terrible news. Let's see what the news is, though. I'm very excited to hear. I love news, right? He's firing in hot. He's coming in hot. He's going to share some news, and we didn't have much news, so I like some news.
Yeah,
but we're excited for baseball. And that's the whole point of this podcast. Like, this is the pre-show of baseball. And, we'll talk about, like, projections, all kinds of stuff coming up. I mean, it's very early yet, but we like our early
excited. We're just getting started. Once Yahoo opens up, that's when the shit gets real. And, yeah, like, everybody's on our side. We're all just fucking super excited.
When do ESPN
open?
Right? I think we've done videos about that in the past where we're like, come on. Like, I feel like Cartman waiting for the Wii in that South Park series, like just freeze me and wake me up, like thaw me out when it's, when baseball starts. I can't make it, Ryan. What is it, 2 weeks? I can't make it. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it.
Ryan,
my grandmother just died.
From the future. Do not freeze yourself.
Don't freeze yourself. Look, I know what you're thinking. I know.
We still have basketball to keep us busy.
Yeah, I'm in cruise control though in a lot of leagues. I'm either like completely fucked or kicking ass. Now, speaking of ass kickings. That Chris Paul news, bad.
Just brutal.
So if you got a Chris Paul situation where you own Chris Paul in basketball leagues, what is it, thumb ligaments that are fucked?
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks.
So
surgery.
You can probably expect about 2 months of time off. And so that probably pretty much fucks the Clippers.
Yeah, it's bad.
Unless, right, we talked about this.
Let's capitalize.
Well, I was gonna say, as Suns, want to capitalize here. Try to get rid of Eric Bledsoe. Well, he's hot.
Going back to the Clippers.
Get out from under the knees. Seriously, send him back to the Clippers.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Knight. I didn't.
Both of them. Fuck it, send them both. I don't know if the money would work or how to make that work, but do it. Get them the fuck out of here. I mean, if you can do that right with this team, don't you do that and turn it over to Ulis and
I tried to get onto the ESPN trade machine, but it wasn't working this morning.
Okay. I wonder, if you can give them one or both, that'd be fucking amazing.
I mean,
Work some sort of 3-way deal. Probably have to be a 3-way deal.
probably.
Oh man, I love good 3-ways. That's what's cool about trading. It's like really dirty sex, you know? Think about it. Yeah, think about it. You got 3-ways, 4-ways. There's draft picks involved. I don't know what a draft pick would be in sexual terms, but
A player to be named later.
oh, that sounds real dirty. You know what I mean? Like, what's gonna happen when, like, you know, somebody else isn't in the room? Like, one of the husbands or the wives have to leave the room, and it's just, ooh, I love it. It's like really kinky sex. Sounds fun. I want to see some good trades. You know what I mean?
Well, that's also at this time of the year what basketball is it's kind of trade season.
Yeah.
I have one dynasty team that's old, and unfortunately,
You're
I had Chris
fucked.
Paul in that league.
Your
So
team just went.
Yeah, I mean, I was already on my way out, but that just fucking is brutal. So I'm trying to blow that one up. I got my team in your dynasty league, where pretty
too
sure
old.
I'm blowing that up too.
Even in your league, your dynasty, your home dynasty, that's like you're on the outside looking in.
Yep.
I mean, what am I, second and third place? I don't know what I'm at. I'm like second and fifth. I can't remember. I thought I moved up, but in those dynasty leagues, I'm really like, it's funny because I still need to make trades. I don't feel like I have a very complete team, but my pick of Darren Williams, like as unsexy as he has been, he is exactly the piece I needed for my team.
Yeah, you got a bunch of those fucking players.
Well, I just got like role players. You know what I mean? I have like a really great, awesome front court situation. You've probably heard it over and over. I've got a million awesome front court players and like almost no guards or forwards except for power forwards, right?
Yeah.
So like it's all just stacked. But like I got these role players in the draft and I don't really need to make moves. My team just kicks ass. Where is Cubby Knoll though? Why is he not jumping in?
Yeah, he said a minute, but it's been over a minute.
Cubby, we're
So
holding
if
the whole
you're
thing
just
for you.
kind of wondering what's going on, we got Cubby Knoll. He's going to be
He's
joining
got
our
news. He's got hot news.
hangouts for an announcement.
We need an announcement. I like news. I like some hot news. I mean, I'm waiting for it. I'm getting antsy. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
like now that I'm talking about it, I feel like I go check my team. I got to look at my teams. I'm sorry. You know what I'm gonna do, Ryan? You hold the show, and I got to look at my teams.
Tom,
I can't not look at my teams. I gotta look at my goddamn teams.
oh my God.
Sorry. Sorry.
So who do you have? We got the NFL playoffs going on, obviously.
Well, we all know what's going to happen there. I mean, I'm pretty sure it comes down to what, Green Bay and Patriots.
Probably, but that
So what do we got?
Atlanta Green Bay game is going to be damn good.
Well, yeah, that's going to be a good game, but I don't. Well,
All right.
That's probably honestly. I don't know. In the same, I don't know. We all assume it's going to be the Patriots over the Steelers, but that could be a good game.
Hey
too.
guys.
Oh yeah, there we go. We got Cubby.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We are ready for some hot news.
Well,
what do you got? He's
Well, it's
firing
not
in
really
hot.
news. This is more like a message or a warning. But first, I
Okay.
want to say I'm glad you guys are doing videos. It's got me pumped up. Same with Andrew. So this goes out to you, Tom, you, Ryan,
Yeah.
JD, Andrew, Reese, Keenan. I am going to fuck all of you up this fantasy baseball season.
Yes.
Say, and I'm out. Have a good one. Woo!
Yes. Woo!
All right. I love it.
I absolutely love it. That is everything I've ever wanted.
Right?
Honestly, that's everything I've ever wanted. I've been waiting for that for so many years in our fantasy leagues. That is exactly the kind of shit talking and carrying on.
Oh my God, I'm so pumped up right now.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know what? Oh, we're going to fuck you back, James. Yeah. Oh my God. I can't wait. Oh, that's going to be so good. Right? You hear that?
Oh yeah!
Yeah, we're like practically starting fires, rubbing our hands like.
Oh man, I can't wait. See,
Oh man,
that's what that shit is about. It's that
Woo!
friendly rivalry. Like, I mean, if you listen to us or been in leagues, you know, like Tom, you're my like rivalry, and like it goes above and beyond our fantasy sports addicts.
yeah. Well, yeah, we're just like shit talking each other generally.
I mean, we can't help it, but you know, again,
We're like brothers like that, you know.
but at the same time, you know, Cubby Noel, he can back up his fucking shit talk.
Well, he has won a few of our leagues, and we're gonna. He's coming into the home dynasties, the good leagugues.
Yeah,
Like-
we do have a couple openings,
Well, they're
but
all
they're already filled.
I mean, yeah. All right, so that's the thing about the leagues we're starting this year, or not. Well, I mean, same as last year, and same as the year before, but like I think we're pretty close to a full already. So if you're like new and you're like just coming around to the channel now and all that, we may have to do additional leagues. And I don't, because again, we're limited. We prefer Yahoo as a format. We are limited to the number of teams we can have on Yahoo. And so Ryan and I may not be able to be in every league, right?
Right.
But we can commission really good leagues with good settings and guarantee that you're going to be in quality leagues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we can organize, even live stream the draft if we're able to get in there. It doesn't matter.
Right. It'll still be the same quality. We just may not be able to be in there unless we're doing like 95 side accounts. And the thing with 95 side accounts, it's really hard to like deal with that. Let's just hope somehow, some way that Yahoo adds more teams per account. That would just make it very simple. And yes, that's still a lot of teams, and it's kind of a, you know, I mean, we say if you're doing a lot of teams, that's makes you an addict for sure.
That's the thing with like dynasty leagues where like
They stack up. You almost need like a dynasty account.
exactly.
Like that may be what we need to do. And you know what? Actually, you know what? I just thought of this. I'm always more compelled towards dynasty. I always feel like I have more, you know, like I'm more in tune with my dynasty leagues. I'm more interested. Yeah, because again, it's dynasty or keeper. It lasts longer. I mean, we've still got like we're in JD's keeper league. You know, like we've got like our dynasty leagues where I got the clone teams. We got the FSAA dynasty. You've got a couple other dynasties. I think I've got one or two. So we almost need, like, that's how you should organize maybe your Yahoo accounts, is one that's specific for dynasty and then one that's for your redrafts of all styles, right? Like rotos and because that way you're like, you know what I mean? Like if you've got them spread out over multiple accounts, it's just like, ugh, I don't even know what's what where.
And like public leagues, like they don't even factor in at this point.
Well, you still do a few. I mean, if you can get into a winners league, you always want to do one. And I mean, we always do like a few draft. Like if we just want to like, you know, draft, we're all like, oh my God, I got a draft. We'll jump in a public league, you know? Like,
yeah, we can't help ourselves.
Well, but we'll take over an entire public league though too. So it almost is by default
one of our leagues.
An FSAA league, yeah. Where there's like a few outsiders, they're like, oh wow, you guys are crazy.
Right.
The fuck happened?
They don't know what the fuck they got into.
Like a plague of locusts came down upon them. Like, what happened in my draft? They're like, oh shit. Who's this J Money? Like, who's JD? What the fuck's going on? You guys are why are you podcasting a draft? Like what? People's heads explode.
It's actually pretty entertaining.
Well, I mean, I kind of like that. That's what we've always wanted, just to like send like a plague of locusts into a league and like, we're owning this. I like that. I like it. But yeah, generally we're very excited about baseball. I mean, like, do we know when ESPN or Yahoo are going to open? There was like a false report of ESPN opening last Friday, and I believe it was. We'll blame Andrew's lack of sleep on it.
Yeah.
But Andrew from Fantasy was like, "Woo!" And I was like, "What?" And there was no. He misread. He was looking at fantasy hockey. Apparently, it was on very little sleep, like you. So he wasn't hungry.
It happens.
It happens. But I think that's it. You know what I mean? it's like in the 50s and the 40s and the 50s when everybody was like, what's that light in the sky? Like everybody was just so hyped up about UFOs, and it was probably just like swamp gas and lights in the sky from a plane or something. They're like, whoa, everything's a UFO. When you're looking for it, it's going to be there. You're all like, we're baseball. But yeah, it's like I got excited when it seemed like, remember we heard from Reverend Nate Dogg that Yahoo had somehow opened up our leagues again. And I sent out that email. I was like, oh, God, check your team, everybody. Like, we can start making trades. No, the league's closed again. So it was like some sort of weird system glitch. But again, you're looking for it. It's going to be there. When is it really going to be there?
2 weeks. It's going to be at the end of the month.
You think the end of the month? I thought it would be sooner with like World Baseball. It was already launched this time last year, I believe. Was it not?
I know. I believe it was the end of the month. Like I'm calling. Let me see.
I swear it was open earlier.
I'm calling the 30th.
I swear it was open sooner. Like, I think it opened way ahead of when we expected it to.
Well, there was the false opening last year where, like,
it opened and then they fucked
opened
up
for a second and then they closed.
We still had our leagues launched, though.
Yeah.
That's how fucking on the spot we are. Like if you want to get into these FSAA leagues or our home leagues, like we don't fuck around. That shit's launched immediately. And we'll launch more as we go, But the first wave is always the mat. We're in the first wave. We're talking about joining like League 15.
We're hitting refresh and like
go. What was it? The 1 year we had like League 1, 2, 3 or something 1 year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We've had like some of the earliest leagues on Yahoo when these launch.
I still think our favorite league was League 666.
Yeah, that was the first public league we did 1 year.
It's like, I don't care if I got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do this draft where I got work the next day. I'm jumping in League 666.
Well, I don't even think that was the first one we did. Or, well, was it? It was the first one we did, but it wasn't the first one available. I think we found it specifically because it was like this deep. Well, no, it wasn't. It was just an auction roto, I think is what it was. It was like the craziest you could do.
Yeah, but it was still public, but it was, just League 666 in the middle of the night.
We just League 666. We got to do it. We got to do it. It's evil. It's evil. So, no, let's talk.
Well, I was just going to say, so again, if you want to get into leagues with us, just hang out on our website, fantasysportsaddicts.com.
Well, and even if we're not in those leagues, there are other addicts that are posting about their leagues.
I mean, JD Baller was just trying to find a replacement manager for some crazy deep Fantrax league.
Yep. Man, good old sock tracks.
Woo!
Woo! All right.
So what were you wanting to talk about, Tom?
What was I wanting to talk about?
Yeah.
Regarding what?
I don't know. I thought you were saying something.
Well, we can
I'm tired.
You don't want to talk about dodgeball?
No.
Come on. I think it's a good story.
No.
Why not? Why not? Why not?
Because.
What?
You don't talk before, you talk after. People that talk before don't fucking back it up.
No, I disagree. James just talked before. He can back it up.
It's a different situation.
What?
Tom, shut up.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I'm trying to have like this would be great radio or great conversation. All right, fine. There better be something and we better talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
God damn it. Like, I'm holding you to this.
Okay.
God damn it. Yeah. All right, fine. Anything else we want to cover here? Because we talked a little bit about baseball. I don't know what else we want to talk about. Has there been any kind of like trading or signing that we want to talk?
And Joey Bats re-signed with Toronto, but
expected.
Yeah. And again, I still like Joey Bats late.
Now, do you think that his draft slot moves up because of the re-signing?
I'm sure. Again, we're going after these crazy ass Fantrax rankings, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, like in Fantrax, again, not a lot of people are familiar with Fantrax. They do ESPN or Yahoo, and they do recency bias, hype bias, both on those websites, more so maybe than Fantrax. And Fantrax, I mean, again, they've buried some of these players that you wouldn't think would be in the like 8th, 9th round of drafts, but they're somehow buried there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so like Joey Bat's going as late as he has been in some of these Fantrax that we've done. You have to think he moves up. I mean, he's going to be like at worst, maybe 3rd round in Yahoo, right? I mean,
Right.
just like, even if the batting average sucks and there's no speed, there's going to be general production. There's still Josh Donaldson. There's still going to be power. I mean, the batting average may stay around like 250, 260, right?
But I mean, I'll get you power.
Right. And production. So I just, there's no way he's going that late in real drafts, like real actual drafts. Everything we've done so far has been mock drafting and pre-drafting. And
well,
so, I mean,
again, like we said, we're just ready for the shit to open up.
And it's supposed to be the end of the month. Is that what we're?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to wait that long. I really don't. Yeah.
Well, until then, I'm sure we'll do another mock in the sock Fantrax.
Well, we need to do at least a couple until then. Like, I want to be ready.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be ready to go from mock drafting into a sock to mock drafting into a better sock, a more comfortable sock. Like, this is like that rough gym sock we're mocking into right now. It's like kind of scratchy. It's also very like used up already.
I mean, again, I want the real thing. I don't want a sock.
Well, as soon as we can all get into a fucking public league, that'll be the first draft we do. It'll just be like, oh shit, there's like 5, 6, 8 of us hanging out. We're gonna jump into
another handful that are pissed that they missed it.
Right, like, oh shit, you guys drafted today?
They'll all get in their own one.
Yeah, they'll still do it. Like, just an early public league. You always have to do an early public league, don't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, they're not like, maybe they're not the best leagues, but again, the way we seem to like take leagues over, those public leagues are pretty fun, actually. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's like, oh shit, like I didn't win, but like, oh, check it out, James won, or like JD won, or like, you know what I mean?
As a whole, the leagues themselves usually suck. The rankings are all over the place. But there's always like 1 or 2 just fucking awesome managers in it who just like, I can't wait to fucking draft.
Right. Well, and you can.
The fucking addicts.
The other thing you can do, though, is like if you jump into an early mock draft or an early public league and you're like talking and not shit talking, but you're talking,
Just
you might actually meet some really good managers. You know what I mean? Like,
some of the best managers we brought in were from just these random early mocks.
Random drafts. Yeah, like before we even had a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We were talking, like we got to do these mocks, and we were doing stuff. Like, that's where we met Reverend Nate Dogg, and he's like one of our favorite managers. He's in our home dynasty leagues, like, and you know what? He went from like a guy we didn't know that we were like, it was a mock draft. Like, we weren't even in a real league with the guy, but he had just such a good mock draft. And I don't know what it was. Like, we were all like talking, and he was just so conversational. It wasn't just smack talk. And it was just like good, just baseball conversation. They were like, wait a minute, this dude knows so much, and he's so qualified. Like, we have these openings in dynasty leagues. Let's get this guy in. And he had never done a dynasty league before, and he didn't want to get over invested. And next thing you know, he's in like 14 dynasty leagues. Like, it's like a 3-year process. All of a sudden, he went from my league to your league to a whole bunch of leagues. And he loves baseball. The man's a reverend. He's a man of the cloth, and he loves baseball. And what other circumstance in life would you and I be conversing with a man of the cloth, quite honestly? Right? So, I mean, and he's like one of our most valued friends in some ways, too. Like, I love this world of fantasy sports, and I think that's the beauty of our website and our channel is the community. There is shit talking like we heard from James. There's camaraderie. There's note comparing. It's such a social thing, you know. And we're all sports fans. I love it. God damn, I love fantasy sports. You know what? Honestly, I don't know what my life would be like without fantasy sports, Ryan. Probably way more productive.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like if I didn't have fantasy, like if I was still like, think about this. Like before I had sports, I was like, I'm gonna be a lawyer. And I was like, no, I really like sports. I kind of just want to like play fantasy sports and make videos. Oh yeah, but I'll mostly play fantasy sports.
Otherwise, you would have been a lawyer.
Well, I prefer what I'm doing now.
All right,
Can you imagine the paperwork involved? Do you think I could do a bunch of lawyer-ish paperwork? Yeah,
No.
Do you see me doing that?
No.
No fucking way. I mostly liked it for the arguing and court kind of thing, but the paperwork involved, no fucking way. No thanks. Bark! I feel like the pug's like, paperwork, bark!
All right, well,
Wait a minute.
this up.
We're going to wrap it up, but I want to talk one more second about fantasy basketball because we still have some fantasy basketball. You mentioned that, Chris Paul with the thumb, and we talked about that. And we joked about a trade. Who's actually playing point guard for the Clippers now? I mean, is there like an immediate ad, or is it like, oh shit, none of the options are any good?
And Austin Rivers, and then old man Raymond Felton.
Okay, so who is it? I mean, are we going with like Daddy's boy, or are we going with the old man?
I think if I needed to, I'd go with Rivers, but I'm not really dropping anybody good to grab one.
Well, I mean, if you got an IL spot, you can probably pop Chris Paul in there and grab somebody.
Again, there's no recovering Chris Paul.
No. So, I mean, if you own Chris Paul, now your season's not effectively done, but, I mean, that bumps you. Like, if you had Chris Paul and you were, like, trying to make the playoffs or, like, sort of in the playoffs, you're going to lose ground and you're not making the playoffs, right?
Right.
If you're already in like first place in your league, do you think you can weather that for 2 months? Possibly longer, depending on the severity of what's going on? Because I always think those return timetables are pretty conservative. Or actually not conservative. I think they're optimistic, actually, is what I meant. They're more like, like, oh, well, he should be back in like 6 weeks.
Well, yeah, it depends on what you're listening to. The player's always more optimistic than should be.
Doctors and, yeah. So, I mean, is this end your season?
I mean, I gotta look. I don't know how many weeks are necessarily left in the schedule and all that. Like, yeah, it's possible. But again, who knows where the Clippers are going to be and minutes restriction. And, I can see them not even fucking playing them for the rest of the year.
That bad. Because, I mean, they're fucked. Minus Blake Griffin and Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you got, like...
Well, I mean, at
bunch.
best, they hope for a fucking 7th or 8th seed, and then they face fucking Golden State or Houston.
And get mowed over.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a shame. See, that's why the Suns need to make a trade. They need to get some draft picks out of those clones. Yeah. When that team finally breaks down and falls apart, get some, like, unprotected first-round picks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you rebuild the Suns. But I don't think these clowns in Phoenix know how to do it. All right,
winning against San Antonio.
That's one. Yeah, winning against San Antonio and Mexico City. Of all the games to win, why? Like, San Antonio is probably trying to lose that. I didn't even watch the game because it was on like a weird time. But I'm guessing most of the Spurs were resting anyways. Right? Like, rest Bledsoe. Rest everyone. Like,
doesn't matter.
I just don't. Why are the Suns winning? You know what? And that brings me to my last point for this podcast. I'd like to make this point. we always talk about armchair coaches and GMs and stuff like that. But I want to live in a world where like fantasy sports knowledge and experience actually counts. Where like you could legitimately say, I could run that team better. I honestly think there are people in the fantasy sports world who play fantasy sports maybe even far better than we do, that legitimately could run a team better than some of these fucking Ivy League jackasses that fucking ruin our favorite franchises. I'm sorry, like let's make JD or J Money or Andrew GM of the Diamondbacks. Or the Suns. Well, you know what? I bet if Andrew was GM of the Suns with no basketball knowledge, I bet he could still do a better job than what's going on right now. And I like Ryan McDonough's not that bad. No, but he's not that good. He's not that good. And like honestly, I just don't understand the way some of these teams are run. Like it's mind-boggling. And like if you're a fan of these teams, you like literally beat your head against the fucking wall. And I really do think, like, the more fantasy sports grows, you could make a legitimate case like, yes, I could run that team much better. I mean, like, seriously, J-Money. You put them in any league, James, a lot of these guys, you put them in any league, they're in the playoffs no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
And you're telling me just they're, like, going off the seat of their pants or their own private research, they can't, like, I'm serious. Like, I think these people and possibly ourselves could be better than so many of these paid GMs. I really do.
That's why we play the game.
We wish we were GMs, right?
Oh yeah.
But I think we could be. That's what I'm like. Who is doing this? Who is running?
Not going to happen.
Yeah. You know what? You know what'd be awesome? This is like, all right. Politics outside of this. Just a guy who's never been a politician is now president of the United States. Not saying anything else beyond that. This is like a guy who never had like a Ivy League sports education and all this stuff. The guy who just ran a fantasy team and was very successful. And he knows so much about that sport. And he's a GM of a team and maybe he's really good. You know what? I'd like to hear that story in my lifetime.
Sounds
maybe 20, 30 years from now.
Sounds like that Whoopi Goldberg movie Eddie, where she's a fan and becomes the coach of the Knicks.
Well, it could be Mr. Smith goes to Washington too. It could be. No, I mean think about it. But there are those unlikely candidates. So I don't know. I'd like to hear about that though, because I really do think, like, you see how bad some of these teams are running, like how poorly they're running. You see these guys running kick-ass fantasy leagues and kick-ass fantasy teams year after year after year, and you're like, this guy knows way more about, like, I don't know,
I get it.
I don't know. All right, whatever. Is there anything else you want to close with or say, Ryan? I mean, I don't.
No, I'm ready to pass out.
Really? How many beverages have you had tonight?
I don't know.
Which is this morning?
Enough? No.
Have you counted? You didn't count?
No.
You are so reluctant to converse.
I'm tired.
Yeah, but you could still, like, I mean, you won't talk about a lot of things today. And I just feel like normally you're more conversational. Remember, you're supposed to say yes. The improv rule, the stage rule, just say yes, go with it, converse.
I'm aware of that.
But you're not doing it today. You're very reluctant. I felt like we had like some really good conversations, some funny stories to talk about, and like so many of these things you've kind of withdrawn from. And any specific reason, or
I'm
just
tired.
You're just tired. You're tired. I'm fucking tired, and I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, I've been Tom. I fucking worked all guy night. Like,
I understand, but like, we're talking sports. It's not that difficult. We're also talking funny shit, in theory, but you won't talk it. Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up.
All right. God, man, you're just like the fucking buzzkill today. All right, hey, buzzkill. You think you can amp it up for the prayer?
Woo!
Give me something fun. Give me something funny to work with here. Feed me a line. Feed me something. No?
Do the prayer.
Oh, I'm doing it. Okay. I was trying to like. All right. God damn.
Fantasy gods.
Fantasy gods, please
Please
grant Ryan
me
the.
the serenity to set
some
my
fucking-
ideal lineup.
No, get some fucking sleep and
The
stop
courage to add drop
your pillows
aggressively.
and the wisdom to take a fucking nap and like get over your fucking period. God damn.
Woo!
Stop being not fun, Ryan. Hey,
Woo!
stop being not fun. All right, if you want to check some other Addicts channels out, you can check out Cubby Knoll. Who's the new guy?
Johnny Baseball.
And of course, Andrew from Fantasy Aid. All right, can you turn that down for a moment? We're fantasysportsaddicts.com. That's our website. You can hit us up on Twitter at letter F, letter S, the word double, letter A, FSAA. Ryan gets sleepy and he becomes an asshole. And you can hit us up on Twitter, FSAA. Yeah, I'm not an asshole. Ryan is. We'll see you guys next time. Hopefully podcast 76 is a little less bastardly from Ryan, and I hope we get to follow up on this story that I wanted to talk about that he won't talk about. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Ryan, you're a shit sipper.
Woo!